I'm on mute. I just said all that stuff on mute. Anyway, I'm here, man. Appreciate you guys jumping in. Auburn versus USC. We're going to get straight into this Prize Picks pregame. As always, man, head over to prizepicks.com to do all of the due diligence. Using code RAPPORT, you get 100% match on your first deposit up to $100. Prizepicks.com, code RAPPORT. But let's take a look at what we've got available right now on Prize Picks. Not a ton as far as props available right now. I took a look at a couple of props and I kind of pre-picked some just because I didn't want to walk into this completely blind. Let's get over into college basketball before I search for Auburn. But the Auburn props that are available here, I'm looking at Janai Broome here. I think there's an opportunity for him to have a good game if we work through him. Not sure, have not heard yet on the status of Wendell Green, and I haven't seen any announcements. Let's go and take a look. If you are here in the chat and you've seen it already, you can go ahead and tell me. But appreciate you guys for jumping in here. Let's see, Auburn basketball game day. He's he's on the game day graphic, but I don't know whether or not how he is right now. So you guys can definitely let me know in the chat if you've seen anything. But as far as I'm concerned, I think this is a good opportunity for a guy like Janai to get his points if Wendell Green is not going to be 100%. Let's be clear. This is a good defensive team in USC that we're going up against. So they're going to have to figure out some other ways to get the points. We've struggled against good defensive teams so far, and we haven't really been great offensively. But I'm going to take him on points, assists, and rebounds because I think Janai can have a big game. Let's take a look at the USC side. And this is more so just from a petty standpoint. I want their guys to have under what they're supposed to. So I took the over on Janai and the under on Drew Peterson here, who has been one of the top productivity guys for USC thus far, specifically on the defensive glass and actually working the offense and assists. He's their assist leader and their rebounds leader thus far this season. So, but I did take the under there. Hopefully we can keep him off the glass and off the second chance points. But you guys know how it goes with Prize Picks. You have to at least have two players and they have to be from different teams. So you could go in and create a card with more than just this. You could do some NFL stuff. There's still some games available there. And you can even do second half props on some of these NFL games. So you have the ability to go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and get this card submitted, and we are off to the races with that. Appreciate the folks at Prize Picks for continuing to support the War Report. How are you guys feeling about the game today? I see Chess Rockwell coming in asking about the game being on ESPN. That is correct. ESPN, the SEC network, is who's supposed to be covering the game. So you guys make sure that you are tuned in with your ESPN provider on that sort of thing. But let me make sure over here, see if they've got it. Let's get to my ESPN. All right, so I got ESPN pulled up here. And it just says ESPN on here. And this game is even as far as the spread is concerned, which is interesting. The ESPN matchup predictor gives Auburn a 55.9% chance of winning. So I think it's going to be an interesting matchup today. But yeah, it's supposed to be on ESPN. So hopefully we'll be able to get in here and get a W on the road. How are you guys feeling about it today? Let me pose this question to those of you in the chat. If you are in the chat, let me just go ahead and get the preliminaries out of the way about this. Share the video and make sure we get some other people from the Auburn family in here. But share the video, hashtag get your weight up. Make sure you add the War Report. Go ahead and like the video as well. Those likes and things of that nature help us. And we are getting dangerously close to getting 10,000 subscribers to our YouTube channel. We have over 9,400 currently. So we appreciate everybody who's been rocking with us, but go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel if you aren't already subscribed. We appreciate all of the help that we can get to our numbers. And if you want to become a member of the War Report, that kind of thing is always available to you to come on board with a membership to our War Report community and family. I didn't do any sort of restrictions on the chat on this one, so you guys feel free to hop in and say whatever it is that you want to, but we appreciate all of the support for the War Report family. But anyway, enough of that, enough of asking you guys to do stuff. How are you guys feeling today about the show? Not the show, excuse me, the game coming up. Chris Causey says, I hope it gets better tonight than I think it's going to. So I take it from that. You're not very optimistic about our chances tonight, but you're hoping for the best. It's all right to be nervous, which Chess jumps in and says, I'm a little nervous for the guys, actually. Listen, there's not been a lot of dominance happening from Auburn on the basketball court so far this year. But as John Brandon says, I really just want to see our defense get back to the place where they're locking up. I was having a conversation with my guy, Auburn Memes, before getting on the live. And one of the things that we were discussing was the straight line drives that we've seen given up and the transition. We didn't talk specifically about transition, but just the easy baskets that we're giving up in the lane, right? Like whether it is a guard running right past somebody straight to the basket with no help defense coming there, or we're not being vigilant in our transition defense, and guys are getting wide open breakaway layups. We've got to be able to figure out how to get the defense back in a place where we're rotating properly when we're in the half court, and we're getting back on defense when they're full court, and limit these guys. I said this about the Memphis game, in a game where you score 70 plus, as the way that Auburn had been playing defense previous to that, you're supposed to win that basketball game. So you shouldn't be giving up 80 plus points in any game as an Auburn defense, and hopefully we get the defense back on track. Ben Bloodworth jump in and says, I think KD comes back angry but focused. 16 plus points for the Psycho tonight. Listen, I hope KD is ready to go out there and play. We're going to need him to be big, as he has been early this season and last season, particularly in those road environments where we need somebody who's just not afraid of the moment. So it's going to be good. But the part of that I want to get drilled down on is focused. Hopefully he is ready to come out and play a focused game and be under control and ready to go out there and put up, 16 plus points would be amazing from him. I also, talking to Memes and just, if you saw my commentary on Twitter, I think a big portion of the Georgia State issue was not having KD in there for the rotation and his offensive prowess. He's just a guy that's kind of an igniter for us offensively, and he makes teams have to respect him a little bit differently than Trey Donaldson has up until this point, who I think Trey Donaldson had a really good game, a really good stretch in that game where he had a fast break layup. Well, not was a fast break. It was kind of a secondary break layup, and then gets right back and gets the offensive foul. Right after that, he had a couple of good passes in the open court that I saw, and then he hit the big three off of the high ball screen late in the shot clock. So he did some good things for us defensively, and some good things offensively as well, as far as just kind of understanding where he needed to be in the offense. Still had some freshman mistakes that happened out there, but overall, probably the best game so far for Trey Donaldson, considering he hasn't really had a lot of minutes, particularly in the last 3 games prior to that. So yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing KD back, and hopefully if Wendell is not 100%, Trey Donaldson can step up again. But that is going to be concerning, because Wendell is really kind of the general out there, the floor general for this offense, even though he hasn't in the last couple of games had the point explosions that he had in the first few games of the season. He has been a guy who knows how to get to the rack or to the rim late in ball games when we need to be able to pick up a bucket. He's decided, hey, I'm just going to go get downhill and make some things happen. And he's been a good assist guy for us this season. He's not I think Trey Donaldson is a little bit more sturdy defensively. And so there's the difference right there on the defensive end is there, but Wendell is just a guy that you need to be out there on the floor for you to make your offense work. And we saw that a lot last year, seeing it again this year. Chess jumps back in and says he'd like to see Janai and Cardwell be a little bit more dominant in the paint. This is something that that Bruce Pearl has been talking about just kind of we're not being and Chris Moore, I think, mentioned this a little bit in his press conferences, in the press conference. And so did Jay Will, about just being the first to action. Like, you need to initiate the physicality down there underneath and not allowing other people to bring that action to you. And that's what's going to help you be in proper position when you're ready to grab those boards. And securing defensive possessions, I think, has been a thing that we've struggled with a little bit. Is it's either been allowing an offensive board after a really good possession where you forced a bad shot or forced a shot late in the shot clock, but then you don't secure the board, or you do secure the board and then you turn it over in the backcourt. Those have been problems for us. So just being more cognizant of securing the defensive possessions and ending them the right way, which it needs to end in a shot clock violation or a rebound, or turnover, right? Like those are the things that you want: turnover, shot clock violation, or rebound at the end of defensive possessions. We need to do that a little bit better, and then making sure that we actually go and get points in transition, and not giving up really quick turnovers in the backcourt as well. So hopefully we'll be able to do that. Wesley Hilson talks about the weak side help having to be better in this. Agree with this 100%. That's been the issue with the straight line drives that we've been giving up, is that the weak side defenders are glued, right? Like, and so there's just kind of basic principles of basketball of see man and see ball, right? Like you need to see where your man is and know where the ball is as well. And we've been doing a poor job on the backside, particularly of being glued to our man and not really helping out and understanding how to get better rotations off ball. And that's been probably the most disappointing thing about the defense of late, is our inability to rotate properly defensively. We do a good job of switching on the high screen actions that we're supposed to do, and the stuff that's on the ball. But then if they're able to, one of the things, if you follow me on Twitter, my at handles right down here. You can see that TWR Ike Jones. If you follow me on Twitter, I talked about how one of the things Georgia State was doing really well is to draw your primary big out, whether that was Cardwell or Broom. In those instances, draw them out into a ball screen, a high ball screen, and then they would kick the ball to the wing and then straight line drive to the wing. So you bring your big out to the high ball screen to either the opposite side or to the top of the key, and then you swing with a ghost action, right? So you're going to ghost screen away, and then my battery's about to die here, so this is going to be a very short live, but you go screen away, and then you have a straight line drive past the guard with leverage and no shot blocker on the backside there. So hopefully we'll be able to get a little bit better with that. And John Brandon asked, will we run some zone today? Hopefully so. So we're about 15 minutes from the tip here. I'm going to get off here because my battery's about to die, but we will be online on Twitter talking about this game a little bit more. We appreciate you guys stopping in with us. As always, your man Ike Jones here. Make sure you stay locked in with the War Report, and I will holler at y'all later.